Hi, everybody. This is 1,186 days today since Richard vanished from the barracks right there on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And he didn't just vanish, something happened. It's called a code red. It's called abuse of power. It's called a waterless waterboarding. It's called retaliation for being a whistleblower. That's what happened. And we're rattling. An earthquake has hit, and you can tell because when you're over the target, people try to make threats, and um, but we have the right to look for our son. We have the right to open records. We have the right to get the answers. And all of this obstruction of justice has to end. This is our son, Richard Halliday. We're ready to hear about him. And now, after 3 years of absolutely staying resolute in our rights to know what happened to our son, we are getting institutional support. And it's rattling those that were contributing to the wrongdoing in this case because they have a lot to lose. But we lost more. We lost more. Um, I am going to see if I'm on. Okay, everything seems to be working. Okay, can everybody hear all right? Let's put this up a little higher. Yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I am on. Thank you so much. And what am I talking about as far as um, institutional support? Well, we know that we have institutions looking into Leilani Hart. We know that. We know that the law enforcement, Yahoo, I wrote that. Well, Rob and I, we wrote a little email to the general letting him know about this March 2023 uh, assault incident by former First Lieutenant Dallas Hart's mother, Leilani Hart. And, and 2 months later, she went back to the law enforcement uh, and wanted to, file a false claim on the person that charged her with assault. And, the law enforcement said, pound sand, no, no, go away, go away, Leilani Hart, go away. Um, and, that made us, woohoo, yay, because finally, uh, the communities of Fort Bliss and El Paso are getting institutional support also. It's not just us. It's also the people there that have been under the harassment, under the threats of retaliation, because Leilani Hart uses her. I'm thinking it's the sex cult thing, but she's using these relationships to control the institutions so that she can control people by threatening retaliation and even acting on the retaliation using our institutions, our taxpayers' money, and she's using them to retaliate against those that she has animosity for, those that don't want to participate with her Vanity Fair, right? So, innocent people. So I think that that is really uh, really telling in all of this, because what do you need to hurt someone? You need to have that malice, that intentional malice, and then this is an assault charge, so that is violence, and this is not her first assault charge. And then the deception, the lying to law enforcement authorities. So she is a key suspect, a prime suspect in our son's murder, in that code red. And she's the one that wrote that Richard is a victim of code red. And those weren't my words, those were her words. So, and I read them a while back, and I didn't mention it on the live streams. Just keeping them in my back pocket, or Rob, Team Fine Richard Halliday's back pocket, and moving forward to get the evidence, to get the black and white evidence, to get circumstantial evidence, which is very important because of these cases that we have been looking at that have had victory. And, what do we need to get accountability, to get justice for Richard? What do we need, right? So just like the PI, even though he was up to no good, just like the PI gave us the tips, and they were good tips about what possibly could have happened to Richard. Write it down. Think about it. Start writing the evidence down underneath each possibility. Where is he, right? And of course, all of them have been X'd out, not possible, except for abduction and murder, because we really do feel like, since he was involved with the CID internship and the CID office there on Fort Bliss, and of course with uh, the other law enforcement agencies on Fort Bliss, meaning Thomas Kane at the DES, and because these people were dual-hatted, administrator to the CYS and Ogle, and then to Laura Stevens there at IG, dual-hatted, and there's a couple other names, and Claire, if you have information on that to clarify that, this is what we're getting. Please call 941-677-0060. And because he was with this law enforcement group, and they were all studying law enforcement, all knew about law enforcement, their jobs were about law enforcement, we believe that because Richard was a whistleblower and he was whistleblowing on them, and of course on Boleyn, on them, um, that they arrested him before they murdered him. That's what are indications, and that's kind of like groundbreaking, that they would abduct him, but they would abduct him, like in front of people, like it was an arrest, because everything they do is like a show, right? Is a stage, like we'll stage arrest him, and but we'll take him to one of our special places, and you know Van Buren is a special place, and 3705 and 3905 Bliss Avenue are very special places. They lead, you know, they know about them, and it connects everybody together. And so, and then of course the arms room is very, very important in all of this. And we are piecing all of what we are being told together, and also the tactical move storage unit, of course, kilometer 29. So all of that is being put together, but we have information in black and white that Special Agent Marlon Soto is really a dirty agent, that he's a dirty agent, you know, that he's up to no good, that he was tampering, that he was manipulating, that we believe the order for arrest would come from him, right? And when you look back at what happened on March 28th at the border, you also think, okay, who ordered him to be treated the way he was? Because they absolutely knew that he was a whistleblower, and they are the ones that get contacted, right? The unit gets contacted, and so, the word gets out. So we're looking into that. But what we do have is the law enforcement agencies, um, telling Leilani Hart now, who is the mother of Richard's platoon leader, First Lieutenant Dallas Hart, okay, the prime suspect in this case, right? And we have motives. We have motives, and we have evidence. We have witnesses. We have witness statements. Um, you know, People involved in this case have heard those witness statements. So, there's no doubt in our mind that this is a key suspect, and we need answers, right? We need answers for um, how he contributed to this huge crime, this code red, right? Um, Also, yeah, I have to take a deep breath because I get flashes of what they did to Richard. And, I'm not allowed to get emotional. I'm not allowed to take a deep breath, I guess. Maybe I need to take a deep breath when I think about what they did to him, to use law enforcement, to use our institutions. And when you look at Leilani Hart, who has a history of using the law enforcement institutions to be retaliatory against people she has animosity for, um, then, this is clearly something that cannot be ignored, because she has a long history of doing this and even threatening, because we've talked to some of her victims, some of her targets, right? And they even said that she would um she had connections and she would get revenge, right? She would sick them on these people and these cartels and stuff like that. So there's not one person that has come to us that's like, oh, what a lovely lady that contributes to Fort Bliss and to El Paso. Not one, not a one. Okay. Even her son, Dallas Hart, doesn't want to be near her, calls her a crazy woman. Um, Her husband, same thing, doesn't want to be near her, calls her all kinds of names. And of course, that doesn't mean that they're okay, right? It means that is problems within that family. So many problems that they, will throw each other under the bus. They would absolutely throw each other under the bus. And, so here's proof that they're capable of malice. They're capable of intentional malice. They're capable of conspiring together to do harm, to do evil. And they're absolutely capable of using, because don't forget that Lalani Hart said that her husband was using his position, his authority at his institution, the Veterans Affairs, um, to use Social Security numbers illegally, to coach veterans and soldiers and how to get benefits. Um, but she meant that in an illegal way. That also, he's having an extramarital affair there with Lisa Lennon Williams. We also have heard, and we asked for clarity, and we didn't get it, that Amber Chase works in his office. So, and she's been just a horrible bully, a horrible harasser and bully, and I've said the most vile and vulgar things. And so, if she's protecting her disability paycheck, if she's protecting her job, then that explains why she's involved in this. And there might be other reasons why she's involved in this, but, you know, um, so, Lalani Hart, here she is in this family that uses the institutions, manipulates the institutions to work illegally in their favor. I want to clarify that, illegally in their favor, and to retaliate against those they have animosity towards. And that is, a huge crime. So it is all of that is circumstantial evidence. And then when you put that on top of the hard evidence, uh, with now Marlon Soto, we have it in black and white that he was manipulating Richard's file, that Richard's case, that he was withholding important information, that he was tampering with um, Richard's file illegally, and he was helping out Tavita Nusa and Lalani Hart. He was protecting them. And we also are witnesses to him policing himself, being allowed to police himself, because at the staged task force find Richard Halliday, that was evidence of that, and we have witnesses of that. So, we are not uh, making these allegations without anything to back it up. We have it backed up. And so this is a botched case, and the law enforcement agencies are sick of a dirty agent and a convicted criminal messing up their jurisdiction, messing up their institutions and their reputations, right? Because there are dirty cops, there are dirty agents, and they really can damage the reputation of the law enforcement organizations. And they're tired of it. So, of course, we have open records requests in. We received in black and white proof that Special Agent Marlon Soto is a dirty agent. And we have proof with all of the legal case numbers that we have turned in. We've turned in everything. Major General Eisenhower knows everything. We just wrote him again today. As soon as we get something, we give it to them. And for the law enforcement agencies to get it, to understand that Leilani Hart is up to no good and lies to law enforcement and uses them to and manipulates them. Excuse me. Sorry. Um, uses them to do dirty work to continue their crime using our institutions to do their crime. And so, what crimes would that be? Well, um, we need clarity because we have, and this is breaking news, we have information and we don't know if it's true. It was given to us. So please call 941-677-0060. That Soto is much dirtier than what we even know and thought. So the allegations are that he was also involved in criminal activities. Um, maybe the narcotics trafficking, maybe prostitution. Um, maybe he's a former CID agent. We know that he's no longer in charge of Richard's case, and he's no longer in charge of the Fort Bliss CID office. So where is he? What happened? And what are these allegations floating around about him being caught in illegal activities, illicit illegal activities? Okay, so that's really breaking news. And maybe that's why the institutional support is now backing us and giving us this information because they even have more information about this dirty agent. And we also have, um, you know, this more information on the criminal conduct of Leilani Hart. And, the big point that I want to make about Leilani Hart is why hasn't she been arrested? Why hasn't she been arrested? And this is very important in our son's case because she has been, for a long time, doing her utmost to obstruct justice in our son's case. And that makes sense with the motive when you know that her son was Richard's platoon leader and that Richard was a whistleblower and that, her son also, the allegations floating around with him is being arrested. And let me read it. I think it's, um, oh yeah, theft of government property. So theft of government properties, of course, ammunition, of course, maybe um, bulletproof vests, maybe grenades, maybe guns, maybe. Um, and, so they have to store them somewhere. And there's another person involved, a gunsmith, that's involved in this. And we're trying to get clarification. And we have hope that we're going to get it because of this breaking news of getting in black and white that he was manipulating Richard's file, tampering with information in the file, and more and more. So, that's leading to to what's really going on, the bigger picture of what they were, the crimes that they were committing, what Richard was blowing the whistle on, and why Marlon Soto was covering for Belen Rocha, right? He was covering for Belen Rocha for so long until he couldn't, right? Until he couldn't anymore. And, the truth comes up whether he wants it to or not. And, a lot of people don't have the time, don't have the resources, don't have the connections to work 3 years to get that truth to come up, right? And they would if they could, but they have younger children, they have jobs. Um, it's they don't have the connections. They might not have um, the experience with the military and all of that to understand how to keep going and uh, withstand the bullying, withstand the harassment, withstand uh, the the intimidation tactics, the lies, the absolute lies, the FBI informants that infiltrate and try to whisper in your ear all kinds of stuff to manipulate you, and then also uh, just the faith, the faith in your loved one, because they sow so much doubt. Are you ready to hear about your son? I'm like, yeah, I have faith in Richard. You know, oh, I thought you were a close family. Why weren't you talking? Because I have faith in him. I have faith in him. I don't feel like I have to hover over him and, every day and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And matter of fact, and I've said this several times, I was taking my little grandson, James. He was little, that's 3 years ago now. He's much bigger. But he was doing the little Strider bike, and I was going around the block with him uh, almost every morning, just praising God that Richard had a job because it was COVID, the measures, not COVID, but COVID measures. And, I was just, always thinking about him because I honestly thought that he was doing well, even though he was in a bad situation. Thank you. Thank you. So that's God saying, yes, exactly. Yeah, I thought he was protected on Fort Bliss. And that's why this active duty soldier is so important, because he has called out the security breaches on Fort Bliss. In our son's case, in the case of the young 14-year-old girl that was living on Fort Bliss in the barracks being prostituted out, and also the JAG having major problems not wanting to answer fraud, waste, and abuse claims by active duty soldiers. So yes, this is a really important part of this case, to get this congressional inquiry, have that kind of support for an active duty soldier that is saying the same thing that we are, that there is a security problem on Fort Bliss, and this never should have happened. And we also have a dirty agent in the CID. We have a dirty agent in the CID. And that, and I'm wondering, I really wish that DES Thomas Kane would have called us, would have answered us, would have responded to our requests before he needed to disappear. So that tells you that he knew about what was going on, and he was also derelict. And clearly he was derelict because he gave the girls the special passes that Jerry Jakovitz, the command sergeant major, told us. They brought in girls during COVID, and now we have confirmation that it was Thomas Kane that gave them the special passes to come on, to go to a party, to party hardy. And I don't think they were standing 6 feet apart. I don't think they had masks on. I don't think that they didn't share drinks and other things. Um, and I don't think that Jerry Jackovitz, the command sergeant major, went and chaperoned those parties, right? And made sure that those girls were not raped, that they were not sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, right? No, they put them in danger. And this is, because when the morale is that low, then that's a moral hazard. When morale is low, it's a moral hazard. And so those girls were in danger being brought in. And I'm sure, from what I know, from what I heard, that some of those girls were mules bringing in illegal drugs, because the barracks absolutely are marketplaces for illegal drugs. And the, you could get whatever you wanted. I was told that numerous times over these 3 years. And nobody has said, oh no, there's not a drug problem in the barracks. Everyone has told me there's a drug problem in the barracks, and a morale problem in the barracks, and PTSD problem in the barracks, and a suicide problem. A suicide problem. I think Fort Bliss is number one. I was just told, I'm trying to verify it, that, and I was even told that, like, Wednesday there was a soldier on base that committed suicide. My husband went 30 years, never heard of a suicide in the military. And now Bliss is number one in suicides. That's what I heard. Please call 941-677-0060 if that's not the case. But yeah, that there still is a problem, whether Bliss is number one or not. Bliss is more problems even than I would say than what Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe is doing over at Fort Hood, Fort Cavazos, because he left it a mess. He didn't do his job. He didn't do his job, and he left it a mess. And he is the raider for Major General Eisenhower, who is now the commanding general of Fort Bliss. And, so to me, I think it was intentional malice what Lieutenant General Bernabe did to Fort Bliss, and to whatever he's doing to control Major General Eisenhower, whatever orders he's giving. It's no different than before Vanessa Guillen. There's no difference. Matter of fact, I think it's worse, because they're like showing such disrespect to the memory of these soldiers that were just criminally murdered. And, and so here Richard is, and they cover up, and we know right now, 100% in black and white, that Soto is a dirty agent. And we have proof. And we know what that proof is corroborating what we already knew and witnessed. What we already knew and witnessed from even Lieutenant General Bernabe and Lieutenant General Donna Martin. We knew that they witnessed that Marlon Soto was a dirty agent right in front of us, right in front of the FBI. And he was allowed to do it. And, looking back, it's like, wow. So they were covering up, and, they allowed him to police himself and they knew he was dirty because they already had Richard's remains. You see, they already had Richard's remains, and because of Vanessa Guillen, because of Austin Hawke, because of Enrique Roman Martinez, because of the whole atmosphere, the shakeup, the earthquake that was happening in the CID and up the chain of command, the jobs being lost, they decided to cover up um, Richard's violent murder as a code red. And because once you open his case, you're going to see that he's a whistleblower, and then you're going to open up, this is a can of worms for the gun I want to say trafficking, but it's not. It's smuggling, the weapon smuggling, the grenade smuggling, the ammunition smuggling, the equipment smuggling, and also for the human trafficking, 85,000 unaccounted for minors. They didn't just get up and walk away, y'all. They weren't just released, okay? They cannot be just released. Something happened to them, and it's called human trafficking. And these are minors, so it's child trafficking. And this is child sex trafficking. Has to be, because the people involved in this don't have any morals. They belong to a sexual like cult, like these doggy mask cults. um you know when you look at the situation with Boleyn, she said to Richard, when he said, don't do it, don't do it, she looked at him and said, you're weird. You see, this 18-year-old young mother, you're weird. So what does that tell me? That her culture was this sexual cult atmosphere, was her being pimped out, her being prostituted out. Be it on these in these bars or whatever. I mean, here she is, 17 years old, waiting for her birthday so she can go and be pimped out. And that to her is normal and respectable and all of that. And so Richard's like, wait a minute. But you don't have to listen to me. So you know that he had rejected her. It's very clear that he had rejected her because, and she even admitted that with, the interviews and all of that. And I'm always going to be grateful because of the interview, and it will be released one day. I really believe that it'll be released one day, and you'll see what I mean, because they were trying to corner her into saying horrible things about Richard that were lies, because we know that they are lies, not because I say they're lies, but because the federal criminal database says they're lies. Where is it? We have it in black and white that Special Agent Tavita Nusa is a dirty agent. We have it in black and white that Leilani Hart is a convicted criminal with mental problems, a history of it. Okay, an unreliable source, right? We have it in black and white. But Richard, he has no criminal record at all. Nothing. He's a whistleblower. And, I've been through you know, every day I give opportunity. I have the phone number up there, and I give opportunity for any of them to give black and white, proof that Richard was a deserter. There is none. It's a yellow Interpol. He has no criminal record in the federal criminal database. There's no warrant or probable cause to search our home. So it's very clear that Soto is a dirty agent, lied, put this through, even tampered with Richard's photograph and put Dallas Hart as the Interpol overlay photograph in Richard's case on the Interpol yellow on the yellow flag, right? On the yellow designated case file. I hope that's how you say it. And here I am going, that doesn't look like Richard. That doesn't look like Richard. But all the measurements are like Dallas Hart. The numbers go way up when you do a forensics check on that picture when it comes to Dallas Hart. But when you do it on Richard, it's like under 20, under 14, 9%. All of the measurements are off. So this is a very dirty cop. This was a cover up. There is no proof. You don't see any proof. All you see is proof that Dallas Hart knew Richard, was Richard's platoon leader. We have that witness testimony, right? 3 witness testimonies and then some, that Dallas Hart was Richard's platoon leader. So they need to go and clarify that. They do not do that. They don't do that. They just say things, but they're liars. They have proved to be liars because they have bullied us and said things online that are absolute lies. And I could spend, hours, calling them out. But, you know them by their fruit. They go behind Team Find Richard Halliday's back. Anyone that is following us at the beginning, I don't know if they do it now, maybe, they would go in and tell them lies about this case. But the truth is coming out, and the truth is that we have a key witness that witnessed that in an FBI statement, in a CID statement, in his full official capacity, that Leilani Hart and Tavita Nusa were leaking files, tampering with Richard's file, deleting things. They were up to no good on Richard's file. Why? Because Leilani Hart is the mother of First Lieutenant Dallas Hart, Richard's platoon leader. Former, right? And we absolutely know that Jay Paulin is a huge suspect too in this case. I don't want to forget about him, and I haven't forgotten about him, but he's a huge suspect in this case with the gunsmith, right? With the gunsmith. So, and of course, we have the whole thing with Angela Kachurga, with KTEP. And, so we've had a very positive week. very positive week. I think we just, uh, I just can't even tell people how positive this week was because it gave us so much evidence that now, and we've been looking into different cases, seeing how the cases are run because we want justice for Richard and we want accountability. At the beginning, we were like, okay, we want immunity for even the worst offense. And we were saying that to Lieutenant General Bernabe and even Donna Martin. And they already knew that Richard was all chopped up, that he was murdered. And that's why they were looking at us weird, like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. We're like, for even the worst offense, we want, because we just want to know what happened to our son. And we want a win for the Army and a win for us. We want justice to be served. Um, we don't feel that way at all as far as the immunity thing goes. No, we want accountability. And I think that the lethal injection needs to be on the table. I really do. Especially when we received all the monies and now we're getting the monies confirmed with the open records request that we are entitled to get, and it's millions of dollars. The price of crime is, you think millions of dollars is bad? The real price of crime is huge, is huge. And I'm even thinking that some of these people are in office, um, like Lieutenant General Bernabe, that want to foment this criminal culture because the law enforcement make money off of it. It's like this banking situation or this warring situation. They want war, they want crime, they want high interest rates um, or a lot of debt. They want a lot of debt because for the banks, and this whole medical thing that they did. It's all a business plan to them. It's not their service and their integrity and their honor, their loyalty to this country, the defense of the Constitution. No, it's all of it is a business plan. And that's, and I'm not, 3 years of this, um, it's very clear. It's very clear. They get everything. We give them everything. They don't have to worry about their paycheck. They don't have to worry about their health care costs. They don't have to worry about their retirement. They don't have to worry. We give them everything. We entrust so much to them. And we want them to defend the Constitution. We want them to honor their obligation to the service members that are under them. And yet they don't. They have failed. Every program is a failed program. The wars are failure. The programs are failure. I don't even know how, everyone understands what I'm saying. They absolutely understand what I'm saying. And they still want these millions and billions and even trillions of dollars of support. And they want to go to war. They want to go to war even more when they don't even care. They have demonstrated they don't even care for the service members that they want to go to war with. There's no esprit de corps. And so that's why this active duty soldier on Fort Bliss is so important. The congressional inquiry, let's get it out on the table, and let's try to clean up this mess, and let's get accountability and justice for Richard. And yes, we need to put the lethal injection on the table. And we've been looking at cases like that, and also military cases. And that's why I put up the military case about Judge Xavier Rodriguez in San Antonio. He's a federal judge, and he didn't like it that the Air Force was derelict in their duty, and that this airman was allowed to buy weapons when he should have been registered with his mental health problems and everything, because it was clearly documented in the records with the medical board, um, with the Air Force. But why didn't they put him on the watch list as far as buying these weapons and everything? And he went on that killing spree. And so hundreds of millions, I think it was 240 million dollars were awarded to the victims, because he didn't take it lightly. And he said that the Air Force was absolutely, I believe, 60% liable for the damage done. And so that is very important in our son's case, because look at dirty agent Marlon Soto and many others that have contributed to what happened to Richard. And so, of course, we would, we would be short-sighted if we didn't look at these cases. We would be very short-sighted if we didn't look at these cases to see, just like the Natalie Holloway, where, you don't need a body because we don't have Richard's remains. Shh, shh, shh. Remember, they found his remains, and shh, they're keeping it a secret. Now, do we want his remains? 100% we want his remains, and we're going to fight for his remains. Fight meaning legally. But we don't need his remains, and we have enough evidence right now for a jury to convict Dallas Hart. And we want the lethal injection on the table. This is not a game. This is not a game. And that's why we are being bullied. That's why, but the damage from 1990s with this family going on and hurting so many families. And if you would have talked to the victims like I've talked to the victims of the Harts, you would absolutely understand the they have scars, mental scars from having to deal with her. So yeah, I just we need accountability. So I don't know what Major General Eisenhower is going to do now with the information we sent him today, that the law enforcement agencies have, told Leilani Hart to go pound sand, and that Marlon Soto absolutely is a dirty agent, lying to the law enforcement agencies about our son's case over and over again, and withholding information and everything. I'm going to post something tomorrow. I know it's Sunday, but I was working on it today a little bit. See if I get finished with it. Maybe late tonight. See if I can get finished with the list of the allegations. And I'm going to call them allegations, even though we have proof, and I'll put maybe stars by the proof. But against dirty agent, and you just need to call him that, because that's exactly what he is. Just like convicted criminal and mother of First Lieutenant Dallas Hart, Leilani Hart. She's a convicted criminal. That's what she is. And she assaulted someone in March of 2023. She assaulted somebody in 2022. You know, um, this is intentional. This is a pattern. And this is just what we know of. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So she's the type of friend that allowed her friends' children to be cared for by her pedophile, incestuous family, right? That likes to buy illegal guns and threaten family members with them, but it's okay to leave your children here. Oh, they were raped in my master bedroom. Oh no. You know, I mean, this is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff. With friends like her, who needs enemies, right? She has no care for other people, especially children. So, and that has come out in the reports. So, okay, I'm gonna read. I would love to run into this witch. Wait, there is two addresses on Bliss Street. Yeah, there's two addresses, 3705 Bliss and 3905 Bliss. And those are very interesting addresses, and they bring together the Rochas, the Ortegas, the Katzens. So Belen Rocha and Danae Katzen absolutely know each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? Because these addresses, Tanya Katzen, um, and Eddie Rocha and Lydia Ortega and even this Rivas, Claudia Rivas, and then also Thomas, um oh, it's a German name. It'll come to me. And then his mother, uh Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, Thomas Hoffman. Yeah, Thomas Hoffman. Um and so that connects the people in Richard's case with also uh, together with the Danaeas and the Bolens. And think about it, out of all the people that could have been interviewed, the PI just interviewed Danaea and Bolen, right? It's like they put those two young girls out there, and I know they're criminals. I know they have a criminal record. I know that they're up to no good. I do know that, but they are young. And they've been put out there, used and abused by these seasoned criminals, be it family members, be it the law enforcement agents, like Dirty Soto. He put those young girls out there. Okay? He did not protect them. And, this is their life. That's why for Richard, Bolen's like, you're weird. What do you mean? You want me to be respected? You don't want the guys that are horny and want to see me naked? You don't want that? You want me to be respected? You want me wow, you're weird. You know, because they're so used to being thrown out there to the wolves. And, that just is so disgusting to me. And, the interview with Belen with the PI, he had his PI friend with him. And they went in her home together with her alone. I think that was disgusting then. I think it's disgusting now. Who sent, uh, and do you think they should have entered her home when she's alone with the children? I don't think so. I thought it was pretty disgusting. So that's just, and that's who he talked to. They were set up. They got played. They got played, and they're, um, they got they have criminal records. I think Boleyn's just now 20 has a criminal record, major, and now obstruction of justice and whatnot in Richard's case. I mean, I don't know who isn't. I guess I'm old fashioned because we believe in protecting our young people. And that's why I didn't want Richard to join the military because I just felt like, um, it's so far away, so far away. So anyway, yeah, I think they were definitely used and abused. But yeah, those two addresses, they connect everybody. They connect Richard's case even to a much bigger case. And I think that's important to start thinking about because it's all going to come out. And that's why I don't want to focus on it, but I want to make people aware because I don't know how, oh my gosh, to think that they are connected. It blows your mind. Um, yes, Soto knew he was trouble. That's why he retired. Um, Soto is retired now? Is that what you're saying, Kathleen? Because that's not what we were told. We were told he was still in that office. So, we were told that he lost his lead, demoted. But yeah, we've been told that he got caught too. He got caught in illegal and illicit. So maybe he is gone. I don't know. I don't know. And maybe those are just rumors. Maybe people are just vindictive. You know, I do know this that they absolutely need to review every case he's touched because he is a dirty agent. I do know that. Um, things are coming to light. Thank you, Rose. They are. They are. It is unimaginable what was done to Richard. People have to be held accountable. Absolutely. I mean, what from our point of view, you know, they didn't tell us he was a whistleblower. All of it makes sense once you know he was a whistleblower, um, and then you know that the CID was in on it. Then it makes sense. And they couldn't tell us that, of course, because they were covering up. It's very sad that the family had to do their own research and investigate. Yes, 100%. And it really upsets me because I ask what really happened to Asia Graham? What really happened to Enrique Roman Martinez? What really happened to Vanessa Guillen? What really happened to Austin Hawk and Caleb Smither? What really happened? Because I just feel like um, in our experience, they manipulate. They manipulate. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry I didn't say hello and how have you all been? How are you? You're right. Yep, but they don't care for the soul. No, and they want to. They want to take these soldiers. They join the military. They know that they will have to put their lives on the line, or have that might come to them, and but there's no esprit de corps, and they get betrayed in every front, and they get raped, and they get sold drugs, and they get girls being brought in and all of this booze and all of that social pressure, all of that social pressure. There's no leadership to say, no, no, you know, we need to be a fighting force and develop that esprit de corps and that pride and that honor and integrity and everything that they talk about in their creeds. And the SOPs don't get followed. And then they want to send them to war, and they haven't even developed any respect, any honor. And because I'm telling you, they don't even know Major General Eisenhower's name. They just call him CG, CG. And they really don't have this love for the country. For they don't know what they're fighting for. These are young people, and we've been so manipulated, so used and abused. Our government's not working properly, and they want to send us to war because it's all about a business plan. It's all about a business plan, and it makes me just Soto was 100% wrong. Yeah. I was wondering what did happen to all the children that were being housed at Fort Bliss. Where are they? They were not just released. They're unaccounted for. Were they put on planes? Were they sold? They were human trafficked? Were they put on buses human trafficked? What happened to them? How many years does a family have to wait till they say Richard expired? I think it's, I don't know, 5 or 7. But there's it really is depending on the chain of command. It really is on the legal system. And I'm going to tell you right now, we absolutely have enough evidence to for a jury to convict Dallas Hart. Okay? We absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind and Team Fight that our family's mind that Richard has been brutally murdered, code red. There's not a doubt in my mind. Okay. So we have enough, and I'm not saying it's because um, just gut feeling. No, this is looking at all of the possibilities and gathering evidence and evidence and evidence, screenshots and people slipping. They slip when they want to bully you, or when they are talking to you, they slip and they say something, and you just put it together and put it together and put it together. And I'm talking about the law enforcement agencies. I'm talking about the generals. Look, we got a call. Hey, did you know that Major General Bernabe is looking for your son's remains during Christmas at the mock Afghanistan village? Now, why is he looking for the remains? They were always looking for the remains. And then the PAO, Lieutenant Colonel Allie Payne, wrote an article and said that they were looking for Richard's remains there at Christmas time, and also in Mexico. And they were working alongside the Department of State in Mexico looking for Richard's remains. She admitted it. So if Richard is, alive and well, they're not looking for his remains. And just all the dating, everything that has been dated, and these designations, there's no designations of deserter. Where is the designation for deserter? There is none. That was all a con job, because as soon as Richard would be officially designated a deserter, he would be on the federal criminal database. They would have a probable cause affidavit to search our home. They don't. He would be he would be a red Interpol and not a yellow Interpol. So it's not that I'm saying this just because of gut feeling. I'm saying this because all of the evidence points to that he is deceased, that he was murdered. So thank you so much, Donna, for coming on. Thank you. They did that to brainwash them girls. Yep, absolutely. Alone, I wouldn't have let them in. They have to come back later. Absolutely. I just thought, where was those men? These are two men, older men. That's creepy to me. I just wouldn't have let them in my opinion. And I'll talk to you with a chain on the door, right? In my opinion, anyone involved should be charged with accessory to murder, in my opinion. Absolute. The, yeah. But, yeah. Yep. There's no but there. Yeah. This is, and I'm not on the jury. I don't know the law. I don't know, I'm not a judge. We'll see. But I agree. This is, and so many other things. Look at what they've done. It's, it's like, oh man. Okay, I'm wrong then. About Soto, sorry. Oh, thank you for answering all my questions. Sorry for so many. They all knew about what happened to Richard and tried to cover it up. Yes. Yeah. No, when you're brainstorming, when you know people and you're brainstorming and everything, you're putting ideas out there, and that's um, why I've done this live stream, because people ask questions, right? They ask questions and they said, "Did you check this? Did you check that? And what about this? And have you thought about this?" And and that's uh, how we have um, gotten so much of our information, is because we're like, oh yeah, let's go check. Oh yeah, let's write FOIAs. And at the beginning of this, we had never written a FOIA in our life. We had never written an open records request in our life. We had never really written a senator or a representative or an attorney general or a district attorney or, yeah, what about this defense attorney that is a dirty defense attorney in all of this, that connects everything together too, and is totally implicated in our son's case, through this whole thing with obstructing justice. So, yeah, because it's not just Fort Bliss, it's also Park University, it's UTIP, it's the media, KTIP, and El Paso Matters, and more, and more. So that's what's heartbreaking, is that our media is so controlled and they have no oversight anymore. And they're just like crisis actors now. Our media is just like crisis actors. They just stage their crisis and are used to manipulate us. So, it's a psyops. It's a psyops. So, and they have to run everything by their psyop masters. And, that's what's been really, really shocking to me too, and heartbreaking. So, but you have to stay strong and you have to stay focused. And we just got confirmation. This week was groundbreaking, and we wrote all these letters that are groundbreaking. Next week is, I think we just had a huge earthquake in this case, and we'll see if it cracked open the fissure enough. We'll see what happens. So thank you so much, everyone. We will be back. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. And everyone have a great Sunday.